A system is just things that you do in an order to get an expected result. For instance, a system we're probably all familiar with are recipes. You follow a specific way of doing things with the ingredients and the timing, and you expect to get a specific result at the other end. If you've ever been to a restaurant and had an amazing Reuben sandwich one day, and then you go back a couple months later and you think to yourself, this didn't taste exactly as good as it did first time I had it. Well, they probably don't have a system. On today's Harness the Power of Planning podcast, I'm going to talk about systems and how they apply to your daily life on episode 104 of the Harness the Power of Planning podcast, starting now. So today's topic is systems. What are they and how can you use them in your daily life? Now, if you're listening to my podcast, you might not know that I recently started doing something on social media, which is I upload these 2-minute thoughts, and maybe I should upload them as podcasts too. But anyway, that's aside the point. If you want to see them, they're really spontaneous, organic thoughts that come up while I'm walking. I call it wisdom while walking. And I've been enjoying what's been coming up, so I'm going to keep doing it. And I've been using the hashtag WWW. So if you want to see the first one, you can go on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube and look up LinkedIn as well, and look up hashtag WWW1 to get the first one. I think I tagged them all correctly. I might have to go back and check. So that's how I'm trying to tag them. And in 2 of the 3 Wisdom While Walkings, I talked about systems. And I want to explain to you what is a system, because we go through these cycles of jargon in probably any industry, but in productivity, I've started noticing a lot of use of the word systems. And I think that it can be confusing for people, or it sounds too businessy, and people might think, how would I apply this to my daily life? So I shall explain. A system is just things that you do in an order to get an expected result. For instance, a system we're probably all familiar with are recipes. You follow a specific way of doing things with the ingredients and the timing, and you expect to get a specific result at the other end. If you've ever been to a restaurant and had an amazing Reuben sandwich one day, and then you go back a couple months later and you think to yourself, this didn't taste exactly as good as it did the first time I had it. Well, they probably don't have a system. They don't have a systematized, consistent way of doing things that ensures that you're getting the quality you want, which consumers expect. Consumers expect a certain level of quality. They want to know that they can count on you to deliver. Well, you can do this in your daily life. A system is really just like a recipe. It's the things that you do in order to get the result that you want. And the most obvious system that I can explain to you is this habit of having a self-care ritual. Because I don't just have a self-care ritual in order to have, nice skin, or in order to make sure that I'm taking my supplements. I have a self-care ritual so that I can feel good, 1, and 2, so that I can focus on other things that I want to do in life by sort of getting these things out of the way that are just kind of baseline hurdles, right? Like, if you have something in your life that is taking all of your focus, let's say health related, whenever you have a health issue, as I have had, I was once bedridden for 3 months and told that I would never be able to be as active as I had been. That was my whole life. Learning to walk again was my whole life. I couldn't think about anything else, which is why I guard my health so protectively now, because I want to be able to think about other things. I don't want that to take over. And so the reason I have a morning ritual or system, ritual, habits, they're all basically the same thing. I would say the difference between a ritual and a habit is you do 10 things to get 1 outcome. You do those enough times, eventually you form a habit, or as we say in the habit formation world, you form a habit stack. A habit stack is when you do a bunch of habits all together and it becomes a stack of habits that you do. So, ritual, habits, a system, a habit stack, same idea. A ritual, I like the word ritual, especially when it comes to my morning and evening rituals, because I do think of them as a sacred time that I protect for myself. And so I like the term ritual because I like the meaning and the implications, whereas system sounds kind of sterile to me. But that's why I wanted to explain it to you all, because you can use systems in your daily life. For instance, a really simple system that I explained in Wisdom While Walking the other day was we like avocados in my house. However, avocados take a certain amount of time to get ripe. And so I have a system that is designed to ensure we always have ripe avocados, which is every Sunday, I buy 4 avocados at the farmer's market. There's 3 of us in our family, and really only 2 of us eat avocados regularly. So that way we have enough avocado to put on our salads every day and to have the occasional guacamole, okay? And so I buy 4 avocados on Sunday at the farmer's market. They're always pretty hard, and that, since they ripen at different times, that allows me to make sure that I'll have avocados in 7 to 10 days. So what avocados am I eating today? I'm eating the avocados I bought the week earlier. And so I just always do this, 4 avocados every Sunday in order to ensure that I have ripe avocados in 7 to 10 days time. Simple system. Another system that I have is when I go walk my dog. I walk my dog every day, and the first thing I do is I put on a weighted vest, and then I put on one of those safety vests over it, the fluorescent one, because 1, I wanna be visible when I'm out walking and it has pockets, and 2, it covers up the big bulky weighted vest that really kinda looks scary. And then I grab my hat and my sunglasses, and you'll see I wear the same sunglasses every day while I'm hiking because these are the sunglasses that live in the area where all of these things live together. So it's just a system. I put on the weighted vest, and then I put on the fluorescent vest, and then my hat and my glasses, and I always make sure I have a earbud so I can listen to an audiobook while I'm walking so I can be learning while walking. And then I walk my dog really fast. It takes me 26 minutes to do it. It's a mile and a half. I time it regularly because that's what it takes. I have to walk fast enough to get my heart rate up. And then when I get home, I basically reverse that. Everything goes back where it belongs because that's how I find it easily. And then I feed my dog a little bit of food because she's hungry after our walk. And so that's that system. And that system ensures that my doggy gets my walk, I get my walk, I get in some learning, and I'm also getting in some weight bearing exercise. So there's another simple system. So I would encourage you, whatever it is that you want to have more of in your life, let's say you want to work on being more hydrated. Oh, interesting. Avocado is lovely with sugar and milk. I've never tried it that way. Do you make a smoothie? For those of you who are watching me live, feel free to comment. I do read the comments. And whatever it is that you want more of in your life, whether it's, you're trying to get more hydrated, or you're trying to get your supplements in, or you're trying to get more sleep. Oh my gosh, having a system or a habit stack to ensure you get good sleep is so important. This actually has a term. It's called having good sleep hygiene. If you do nothing else, if you're not sure where to start with regards to your health and creating a system, I would create a system around having good sleep. And I'll have to talk about that in a separate podcast because that's a whole topic in and of itself. But whatever it is that you want to have more of in your life, take some time to think about what are the steps that would help me to have more of that. Now, when before I had a morning ritual, I used to wake up in the morning feeling stressed because I didn't know how I was going to start my day. It was like my day was barreling at me and I didn't know where to start. And there's an adage in the productivity world: every 1 minute of planning will save you 10 minutes of doing. And I can tell you that my morning ritual has absolutely saved me a ton of time and energy because I don't wake up in the morning with my wheels spinning. And so it does take a little bit of time to think about, okay, how do I want to be purposeful about your day? But it saves you so much energy. And people, I think a lot of us have this false belief that thoughts don't waste energy because they're like these ephemeral things that you can't see and you can't touch and feel it. But your brain takes 2% of your body weight, but uses about 20% of your calories. That's right. 2% of your body weight, but 20% of your calories. So thoughts are energy, and useless thoughts are a waste of energy. So I used to wake up in the morning, my brain spinning, like, what am I going to do? How should I start my day? Blah, 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 blah. And then I started creating a morning ritual. Now, part of my morning ritual has been in place forever, and that is making my bed. I have always been a bed maker going back to when I was a kiddo. And the reason why is because I just like the way a made bed looks. However, if you decide that starting your morning with, less anxiety, using less energy, kind of more of a good start with the day, if you decide that's what you want to create a system for, then I will tell you that making your bed is one of the best things that you can do because one, it takes 30 seconds. I've timed it. It doesn't take a long time to make your bed. Plus, there's a ton of brain science about the benefits of making a bed. You might be shocked, but go ahead and do an internet search for it and you will find tons of brain science because one, it gives you a quick win in the morning. Two, it makes your room feel neater. That probably seems obvious, but our beds are one of the biggest things in our rooms. So it'll make you feel better. But three, and this is one of my favorite reasons for making a bed helps you have better sleep because when you unmake your bed, it actually triggers your brain to start winding down. Oh, okay, it's time to calm down. I'm going to, power down. So if you don't know where to start with a system for your morning, consider making your bed. Okay, so take a little bit of time, think about an area of your life where you want to make a change, and then think about the little activities you can do that will start creating a system. Now, I don't think it's always the most efficient way to establish a system by coming up with 10 steps that you're going to do because doing 10 new things that you've never done before, that's challenging. So, for instance, when I decided that I was going to have a morning ritual, I started with what I was already doing, which was making my bed. And then I slowly added on to that. And actually, that's a great place to say, I'm going to start part 2 of the podcast right now, which is talking about using systems to ensure that you're getting self-care. Okay. If you are ready to take your planning to the next step, consider doing my on-demand course, also called Harness the Power of Planning. You can find that at tinyurl.com/HPOP on demand. That's tinyurl.com/HPOP on demand. And be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen. And remember, planning makes everything easier. Thanks for listening to the Harness the Power of Planning podcast. Be sure to follow and rate and subscribe wherever you listen.